handbook that's absolutely free on research-based methodology, but also practical ways on how to teach pronunciation. Now, I learned to teach pronunciation from my CELTA tutor in Greece. I lived in Greece for a while, and her name is Marissa Konstantinidis. And I went ahead and I gave you her, in one of the bookmarks, you'll see her blog and the things that she did, and she was really good. The problem is, when I was doing my CELTA, that's British-based English, and with CELTA, you do learn how to effectively teach pronunciation, but when you're usually teaching pronunciation, at least for American English, usually it's more of an immersion, and you don't necessarily learn the different types of consonant sounds and diphthongs and all of this. It's different types of sounds. So I want to tell you different types of ways of doing both if you teach British English or American English, because I'm familiar with both. I think it's really important to be able to learn how to do that. When I was growing up, I actually was speaking a dialect. It's called Shay, Chicano English, and this is a type of this really hurt me with pronunciation because I didn't learn how to properly pronunciate things, and so I had to actually go and I actually had to learn how to correctly pronunciate things. And this wasn't until I was about I would say about 8 or 9. So even now, because I didn't learn the different types of sounds and things like that properly and how to dissect the words and their sound, how to say it, I had to struggle with it. But according to this handbook and the research, they say, yes, you can teach the sounds and all of that, but the best way to teach pronunciation is to focus, and that's the main thing you have to take from here. Focus on words, phrases, and sentences. So yeah, show them the big chart that has all the letters and the way you say them and the diphthongs and everything is, and teaching phonetics, but at the same time, the focus should be on words and phrases and sentences. And that's the reason for that is because there are many words in the English language that you will see that absolutely do not follow the same rules as they should. Like you'll find words that are spelled the same and then they don't have any, they don't sound familiar at all. They don't have the same pronunciation. That happens a lot. So it's very important to get students familiar with that. So you can familiarize them with the sounds, but also remind them there's some words they're just not going to follow that rule. And there are great websites out there that will help you do this. One of this is this Teach English website. It's fantastic. It's the Teach English, and it's the interactive phonemic chart, and it's going to help you. It's going to help your students hear the different sounds. I'm going to try to click it on my thing, and hopefully you can find it here. You can even check it out yourself, but it's embedded in here. Hi, Mariana. Mariana's from Croatia. We have the Philippines, Croatia, Brazil, Turkey, and Greece today. But basically, when you click on any of these, you'll see, if you click on the little arrow on top of the phonemic chart, you'll see words that actually have that sound, so that way they can be familiar, but they can hear it as well. I'm going to see if you can hear it from my computer. Let's see if I'm going to click one and see. Did you hear that word said ooh? I clicked the ooh. And then some of the words it has is food. It pronounces it for you too.
Shoe.
So you might have lightly heard it. Rule, food, and shoe. And this was for this sound right here. So it's really great when you go to that side, the students are able to practice and familiarize themselves with it. It's great to show them these charts because if they're ever by themselves, one of the rules that was in the PDF that they found most effective was, yes, get students familiarize them with them. But your class shouldn't exactly, yes, Reza, that's very good. Reza says weak stress is important and a distinction between is important too. Yes, it is. It's very important. But yes, actually, I was just going to show you that, Sullivan, later. But yes, Sullivan says, is this method covered in English pronunciation? Yes, it is. And so once they're able to understand the phonetic chart, this takes self-study though, so this shouldn't be your focus in class. So yes, introduce it. Introduce it maybe the first day or the first couple of days, especially with beginners. It's really important that they have this foundation. But then encourage them to practice on their own, to do this as self-study. Now, one of the best ones and websites is the Macmillan one. This one is really fantastic, and this is actually the interactive phonetic chart, and this one is from Macmillan. This one's really good. It does about the same kind of thing, the interactive phonetic chart, but this one goes a little bit further. It actually, Adrian Underhill is one of the ones that developed the app for this. So this comes in a really fantastic app on your iPad or tablet. It's iDevices and Android, so it's fantastic for that. And it just won an Elton. I was very excited that I was able to see Adrian Underhill get his Elton for this because I was there for ELT chat. And I did see Ella there, so that's very cool. But students, they have mobile devices, so it's fantastic because they can have this to carry on their phone. And that's so useful because when you think about it, you can just have when you have the mobile device, anytime they're around that they see a word or anything like that, they can go ahead and they can use this. And they can easily hear how to pronounce it. So it's on the go, a pronunciation chart for them. So this is fantastic for self-study. And that's the main and most effective way for them to learn pronunciation. I have been to 23 countries around the world. And next, in July, it'll be 24 because I'll be going to Jerusalem. I'm really excited about that. I'll be in Tel Aviv. The great thing about them is, everywhere that I've been, I've met some language speakers, and they're not native speakers, but their English and their pronunciation is so good. And when I ask them, well, how did you learn how to pronunciate so well? Or how did your pronunciation get so perfect that you sound just like a native speaker? Excuse me. One of the things that they did was they told me that they self-studied a lot, that they would listen to the BBC, they would listen to music, they would look at films, and they would pause it, and they would mimic the sounds and the mouth movements as well. And I think that's really important, is we have to familiarize them with the mouth movement. And if you look at this video by Adrian Underhill, and I do have that bookmarked with the rest of the bookmarks, but Adrian Underhill has these YouTube videos where he talks about pronunciation, and he walks around and he describes to the learners what the tongue feels like, the location of the tongue when they pronounce certain types of sounds, where it rests, where if it goes up on the roof of your mouth. He shows the mouth, what it feels like, what the lips look like, and this is really important for learners, so that way they understand when they're saying a certain type of word, how it feels. So it's not only the mouth movement, but how the mouth and the tongue and all of that and the lips feel as well. There are great sites to do this. If you go to the University of Iowa, they show you. It's such a great site. I'm going to go ahead and share it with you. And I actually learned this from David Dubois, absolutely free. And what you can do is you can go there and you can click on any of these, but it gives you an example. You can listen to it. You see where it's, deer, radar, bleed, and you can listen to all of these examples, but it also shows you what the mouth inside looks like. So that way your learners will be able to do that as well. It differentiates between voiceless and voiced. So this is a really effective way for your learners to find it themselves, and they can see the movements. And this is a really great site for self-study. show real examples that they'll be able to. You can show movie clips, you can pause certain videos and stuff, and of course my favorite place, YouTube, because YouTube has just great examples out there, and they can always access them inside their mobile device. But not only that, your students will be familiar with YouTube, and a lot of the videos can be downloaded from YouTube and be used in class, so you can use it offline as well. You don't need the internet for it. You can just, once you download it from home, you can take it into the classroom. Now, this is a great language site for, and you can go to the Pinterest, and that's where you're going to find a lot of these different types of sites. But the great thing is that you can go to the Pinterest and you can find it. But the one with Jennifer is mainly for adults. You can learn the pronunciation of English vowel sounds. You can diphthongs, all of that. I mean, you're going to be able to hear the pronunciation. She goes over what it looks like. She's very interactive, and it's a lot of fun. So it's more for adults. The same thing here. You get IPA consonants and things like that. This is from the TESOL site. There's lots and lots of videos. Really great for different types of self-study. But there's also other things that they can do for kids. Now, kids, it's important that we teach pronunciation to kids, but the best way to teach pronunciation to kids is a different approach. And a lot of times you'll hear phonics, and phonics has been really effective, and it's really kind of the way that most textbooks and courses are going to right now. They're all focusing on phonics. And there's great ways to teach learners showing videos. But you'll notice that a lot of the videos, this is the Kids TV 123, they have a lot of songs. And the songs are fantastic. They have little characters for A to Z, and it's really fantastic. They're really fun. And songs are really great. You can sing these songs. You can sit in a circle, and you can sing these songs in class with your students and get them to pronunciate. One of the most popular ones here in America that we use with kids is apples and bananas, and you take off each first letter when you're doing it, or you change the letters with this song. It's like, I like to eat apples and bananas. And then you can change the vowel sounds and stuff, so it really helps them with their pronunciation because they hear the different letters, and it's a fun way for them to learn it. So you can have puppets also as well sing the songs and get the students to sing it out loud. And that's the most effective way to get your students to learn the different pronunciation. To be able to do this effectively is, yes, they have to have self-study. That's one of the things. But another thing they have to have is practice. So they have to have self-study and practice. They have to be able to practice speaking. So it's not enough that we teach them about it, that they learn what the different symbols are and what the pronunciation and the stress and this. But it's very important for them to be able to speak and practice it. So that's something they can do at home. You can maybe have a wiki set up and they can record their voices, or they can record their voices on their phone, and then they can send them to you. They can email them to you, and then you can check their pronunciation. Now, many of you are talking about different problems that you have, and with your type of learners. So one of the things that I didn't put up here, but I do want to share with you, is Michael Swan's book, because this really, really helped me a lot. He has Learner English, I believe it is. Let me go ahead and get you that. And this is the one that I have used, and it's really fantastic, because one of the things that Michael Swan does is he actually tells you, I'm going to go ahead and just do all the Michael Swan books here. But the great thing about this is he tells you which countries the pronunciation issues that they will have. If they have a trouble with the S's and the CH's, like in Chicano English or Mexican English, with a lot of Spanish speakers, we have problems with pronouncing the difference between SH and CH. So when I was growing up, I had a hard problem saying, for example, chair. I would always say share instead of chair. And I used to have to practice that chair. And instead of saying sandwich, I would say sandwich. And even now, I still have issues with the Mel and Mel. So these are some great sites. Oh, thank you, Mariana, for sharing that with us. So direct students to self-study resources and ideas. Let me go ahead and share with you some of my favorites. Practice in a mirror. So this is something I learned from Bernie Wall's blog. It's fantastic. A lot of your female students will actually have compact mirrors in their purse. In fact, where is my purse? Because, oh, I think it's downstairs. But a lot of times, okay, here we go. So you have that compact mirror. They carry it around. They can use this to help them and look at their mouth movements, and when they're just doing nothing, they can practice. Like, for example, this when I was learning German, this is one of the things that I would do because it is very, very, very hard and difficult to pronounce German sounds. So, like, for example, a very difficult German word is Entschuldigung, which is excuse me. I had to practice this all the time, and I would always say, Entschuldigung. And I would make sure that my mouth matched the mouth of German speakers that I had observed, the real life examples there that I was talking about earlier. So that's something very good for language learners. Once they go to those sites, once they see, yes, it is very funny. Yeah, but once you see this and then you show them, they will actually think, hey, that's a good idea. I can do that. So this is one idea for kind of a practical way without any technology to practice the pronunciation. Forval.com. Forval, yes, exactly. Yes, exactly, Reza. That's very good. To differentiate the very difficult sounds, it's very good to practice with the mirror too. Forward.com is this social site. They can go on, they can listen to different speakers around the world pronounce any word, but they can add to it for free as well. It's a free website. It has over 500,000 speakers from all over the world, pronouncing over 2,000 words. It has so many different words. And once they hear the different sounds and examples, they contribute too. So it's a way for them to get speaking and pronunciation practice as well. It's motivational because they meet people from all over the world to practice their pronunciation. It's a social website. This is a free Android app that's really cool. It's absolutely free. It's only an Android. But you learn a word, you hear it, and it has a database of words for them to listen to. It's in French and it's in Spanish too. It's not only in English. And then you hear the word, like for example, maybe hello. And then you hear it, you click the word, and it goes hello. And then you speak it, you say hello back. It records it, your hello, and then it grades your pronunciation. It sees if you actually pronounced it correctly. So it's fantastic for language learners because it's their own test that they carry around. They can be on the bus. They can just click on the app. They can start pronouncing listen to some of the words. They can pronounce it. And then they can go and they can speak to the phone that records it, the app does, and it grades it. So isn't that fantastic? Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it should have minimum pairs as well. But it is a free app, and I did bookmark it recently, but I'll go ahead and put the listen and speak as well because that's definitely something that I think that is really good. So let me go ahead and find this app for you. Let's see. Now it has some kinks, and the only reason, but I mean it's free, so I think it's okay, you know, because that's what happens with free stuff. Sometimes they have kinks in them. But there you go. That's where you can go ahead. This is to me the absolute best site for having your English language learners learn how to pronounce different words. And one of the reasons why is because it has a lot for them. I mean, it's almost for them like a whole entire course. They get more practice and options if they register. It is a free registration. Sometimes they do have, it's just fantastic. Okay, so you have a bunch of the sounds from the chart, the phonetic chart. And then what happens is you can listen to it. You can start your practice, but you can see different key points. It shows you the mouth movements. You can play it, and you can see the diagram of how your mouth should be when you're making this. You can see advanced tips and tricks, the cultural discovery tools. It says here, use a chopstick to help you feel the correct tongue position. Place the chopstick across the middle of your tongue and curl your tongue around it. See, so it gives you some really practical ideas. It's really great for language learners. You get to click the video that tells you all these advanced tips and tricks for the particular sound. You have words that contain the sound in the beginning, the middle, the end, the contrast, and different things like that. So there's so many videos, there's examples, there are interactive diagrams of the mouth, and then you watch it in action, 20 clips for this particular sound. So after you watch it and you start and you press, and these are all from movie clips. It's fantastic. You'll see Lord of the Rings and things like that. It's really great fun. But then after that, it's your turn to speak. So this is a website, the EnglishCentral.com pronunciation. And then you get 20 clips, and the student does this, and he grades their sounds. And even for native speakers sometimes, Russell Stannard does this fantastic tutorial on it in his teacher training site, and I've bookmarked that as well. And in the tutorial, Russell makes a C minus or C plus in the tutorial when he's getting graded. So they do make sure that you pronounce the words and it go again and again. You can go fast or slow, so it's fantastic for learners. And then if you look over here, let me show you really quick. I forgot to show you. View your progress. So if you register for the site, every time you do one of these clips, you can see how much further advanced you get. So you have a chart that helps you regulate and stuff like that, tells you your progress. So it's very motivational. This site I found, this could be useful for different types of learners. This is text to phonics. So you can get any type of text online. You copy and you paste it in here, and then you can transcribe it, and it's you can have general American pronunciation, or you can have the pronunciation RP. But it transcribes it so it's in the international phonetic alphabet. So if they're practicing speeches and things that they write, they can do that. They can copy it from Microsoft Word, and if they have to recite poetry or something like that, it's something that could be useful. These are just a few ideas. There's so much. There's, of course, Adrian Underhill has a fantastic blog now since he won the Elton. So I'm going to go ahead and get you Adrian Underhill's blog here. And he's a great resource. He's definitely one of the people in the industry that's probably the most well-known and celebrated for his pronunciation, his work with pronunciation. And really, the stuff that he does, even the videos and stuff, he makes it fun for learners. And that's one of the main things that he says. He says, for it to be successful and for your learners to be able to do this, and that it's really, really important that you have a lot of fun and teach your learners to have fun with it. So that's definitely something that I want to stress, is that we can have games. And I recently went last November, I was at TESOL France in Paris, and I saw Dee Dee Wilson, Ken Wilson's wife, and she had so many fun games and activities for learners. One of those and I have all of these in the pronunciation resources in the Pinterest that I'll share with you here. There's plenty of different sites that you can find, and you'll find this slideshow after we finish. But the great thing is Dee Dee had so many different activities. And that's what both of them kind of say, is have fun with your learners, practice with them. This shouldn't be the focus of every single lesson. And definitely if you see learners who have a particular type of a problem, like they can't pronunciate, they have certain sounds they struggle with, then you can self-direct them to websites and things like that will definitely help them to be better at that. So what I want to do right now, let me go ahead and get this Adrienne Underhill's blog here. Here you go. And that's all bookmarked. But Eclipse to Climb also has different types of things that he recommends as well. And he has some websites that he has bookmarked and some online games for learners. I think you should definitely check that out too. But he recommends it as well. There are other ways to get your learners motivated to speak. One of the ways is definitely the Mouth Off app. That's one of the apps that I have a lot of fun with. The problem with Mouth Off, though, is that it is not free, but it is a fun way. Your mouth moves, and the kids love to speak using that. So if you want them to pronounce a word or to speak a word, it's a great way to encourage them to do it and look at the mouth. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you with that. If you have any more types of web apps that you use, or if you have anything, any websites or activities you do, please feel free to share them, and I'll bookmark them as well. Thank you so much for coming today, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend and that you got lots of great ideas for teaching pronunciation. Don't forget to go to the Pinterest site. You'll find that wonderful, wonderful, wonderful handbook. In fact, I will even get that handbook for you, so that way you can download it. It's a free 100-page research-based handbook on how to teach pronunciation. So thank you so much, and I will see you next week. And I will just be getting back from New York talking with Deepak Chopra, so I'm very excited about that. But thank you very much. I have someone who would like to say bye to you. So before we go, he's not very good at pronunciation, but he'll say bye anyway. Roscoe the Pug. But thank you so much, and see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody. You can always email me. Yes, let's teach Roscoe. Roscoe, can you say, I love you? There's actually a pug. He's famous. He goes and talk shows around here. And he actually does say, I love you. You're just trying to kiss me, aren't ya? Yes. Oh, okay. Aretha, you're asking about Second Life. I think Second Life is great. I thought it was better before, but now the interface has gotten a little bit difficult. Not yet, but it will be. Oh, Morocco too. Oh, fantastic. We had so many countries today. I'm going to say like 10 different countries. Fantastic. Did you hear that? We had 10 countries. Do you want to tell them where you came from? Germany? Yes? Bye, everyone. Oh my gosh, 4 a.m. in the Philippines? Oh, wow, that's crazy. Thank you, Markley, for coming. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.